Mego. It's World Hearing Day, and I think, something that probably a lot of people are not fully aware of is that you obviously live with a disability with your hearing. For those who aren't aware, what is it that you actually have, and can you tell us a bit more about it, I guess?
Yeah, so I wear hearing aids. I don't have to wear them when I'm on the pitch, though, which is a good thing, because obviously everyone's shouting. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been wearing them for 2 years now. I've had 2 different types of hearing aids. So my first set was like behind the ear ones, which they were okay to start with, but I still found it really difficult to hear everything that I needed to hear. So I've changed to now in the ear ones. And yes, probably about 2 years I've been wearing them, over 2 years now. But basically, the thing that's going on with my ears is that the bones don't vibrate. So then it doesn't hear the noise that I want to hear. And I've got a deficit of how many decimal loss I've got, I can't remember now, but it is decreasing. But you know what, I'm here for it, and you can still do everything you want to do with them in. So,
was it something that you had from birth, or was it something that happened in like adult life?
I think it's probably been more so from like mid-20s onwards that I've noticed it more so. It was actually my partner Kieran that noticed it the most. I would be sitting watching telly and I've got it up at 80 and the telly only goes to 100. So yeah, you can imagine it was like a cinema in the house. And then obviously COVID hit, where people had masks and it was really difficult to read people's lips, and that made it a lot more difficult. And then went and got a hearing test done. We found out that it started at a 60 decimal loss. I think it was on my left hand side. My right hand side also has a deficit of whatever it is now. But yeah, just gradually decreasing as time goes on.
How does that affect, first and foremost, I suppose, your everyday life as opposed to being on the pitch? Like, does it affect things as much? Obviously, you get more used to it, but what's changed for you now that you have to wear hearing aids, and how does your life get impacted by having to wear them in your everyday life?
It's still really hard. Like, it's so hard to pick people up. Like, if I'm not facing them, it's really difficult. If I can read people's lips, if I'm not engaged in a conversation and then somebody randomly speaks to me, it's very difficult to pick up what people have said. And it's probably difficult for both people on receiving end and the other side of it. So, but impact in life, like, this has probably been the first time that I've got used to the hearing aids.
Yeah.
Where I've actually wore them when I'm supposed to wear them. I probably just didn't accept it as much to start with. Just didn't really have them in as often. So it was a lot more difficult to kind of like get used to them. But now, definitely these ones have made a massive difference. Like, I can do my football stuff off the pitch, on the pitch. I can do like whatever other stuff I'm doing out with. It's made a huge difference. But yeah, it does make it hard, but you know what, you can still do everything you want to do. So,
you mentioned about how you don't wear your hearing aids on the pitch. How does that affect your hearing when you're on there? Obviously, people are shouting and stuff like that, but I imagine there are some like difficulties with that occasionally.
Yeah, there is. Depends on the situation. Like, if people use loads of words, it's really, really difficult. Whereas if they just give one-word answers, or it's really easy to pick up. Prime examples, I don't know, if you've got somebody running against you and they're like, let's clear the ball, that's quite hard. But if they just go like, just get rid of something so simple, it makes life easier. But yeah, on the pitch, I don't really see the hand signals, and it sounds so daft. Like, it doesn't even need to be sign language, but just the hand signal is so easy to pick up what people are saying, especially in the mannerisms that people do, their body language. There's so many things that you pick up on that you wouldn't realise that you would actually pick up on. It's quite interesting stuff. So.
We saw Mackenzie Arnold, obviously West Ham United and Australia Matilda's goalkeeper. She mentioned about wearing hearing aids and the issues that she has with the hearing as well. But since you've had to wear hearing aids for your everyday life, and you've had, the issues that you have with your ears, have you heard anyone else talk about it? Is it quite a unique thing in football? Because I don't think a lot of people know about the fact that you obviously wear them and that you have that difficulty.
Yeah, I've not really heard anyone else in football that I know of anyway that's got that. I know people out with that have played elite sports that have hearing issues. Like, I mean, you've got so many different things now. You can still play a sport at a high level with hearing aids. It's the only downside is the more deficit loss you get. That I've seen on people, is the balance seems to go. But I mean, from my perspective, I don't really know many other people that are in our sport that have that problem. So. But yeah, it's just to make people aware that you can still play football, you can still play a sport, even if you've got a hearing loss, like, because you play the game.
Yeah.
You don't, like, if you understand the game and you can play the game, then you can still do it.
That was kind of the final thing I wanted to ask. There will be people who are thinking about maybe getting into sport, and they may have like problems with the hearing, or they may have issues with the hearing. What would kind of be your advice to those people based on your experiences that you've had?
Well, I mean, I've only had the hearing aids in for 2 years, so say even if you backtrack it to 3 years of playing with a hearing loss, like if you've had it from birth or whatever, you can still do your sport. Like if you're passionate enough and you know how to play the game, you're definitely going to be able to play your sport. I think it's just getting people to realise, or if they have a hearing loss, that just go and do what you're passionate about. You can still do it. Like, and there's such a big community out there for hearing loss that you can contact them, they can help you throughout it. There's all these sort of things that go about. But yeah, everyone can play a sport if you want to. So.
Megan, thanks very much.
No problem.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Fulton then with the ball across. There's Foley underneath it. Lovely from Megan Foley just to nod that over. Megan Cunningham.